was reported that you invited Senator Schiff to join you on this trip, and he was too busy. Are you disappointed?
I don't know. I was told that Schiff was going to travel with us to California. I wasn't thrilled, to be honest with you. And I saw him last night on television. It looks like he got hit with a baseball bat or something. What happened to him? Something happened to him. It looked like he got hit. It looked like he got beat around. But I'll ask Caroline to find out what happened to him. No, if he wanted to come out, I would have done that. But I don't know. Somebody said that he wanted to come on the plane, but I think he's staying back for the votes. There's some pretty good votes going on. Yeah.
Most importantly, thank you for being here. It means a great deal to all of us, not just the folks in Palisades, the folks in Altadena that were devastated. We're going to need your support. We're going to need your help. You were there for us during COVID. I don't forget that. And I have all the expectations that we'll be able to work together to get this speedy recovery.
We will. We're going to get it done.
Does it hold funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy?
I want to see two things in Los Angeles. Voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote. And I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state. Those are the two things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and dry. You know, they have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa, which is about as good as there is anywhere on earth. The problem is it's artificial because they artificially stop the water from going onto the land. So I want two things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it. Right now, you don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting, but I just want voter ID as a start, and I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about President Trump showing the country that America is back, okay? We actually have somebody in charge that is not an empty suit, that is not thinking for himself, that is not mentally deteriorating in office, okay? Because President Trump is doing something that Biden rarely did, which is showing leadership during a time of disaster, okay? President Trump visited North Carolina today, and he was there in order to assess the situation, provide resources, and most importantly, roll back the regulations. Because one of the reasons why it is so hard to rebuild in some parts of the country is because there's so much red tape, bureaucratic obstacles that are standing in the way of people getting started building immediately, okay? Because people's lives have been ruined. People want to go back to normal, but the government stops people from getting back to normal as soon as possible due to the fact that government actors tend to take advantage of these situations to push social agendas. And no other state in this country does this more than California, okay? And President Trump, after visiting North Carolina, went out to California to assess the LA wildfire situation. He met Gavin Newsom. They talked. They seem to be a lot more friendly towards each other in person than they are over the internet, right? Trading shots. But the real fireworks happened when President Trump and woke Mayor Karen Bass butted heads on their approach to helping build LA, okay? And part of the reason why is due to the fact that President Trump has proposed things like, for example, getting rid of FEMA. Now, why does Trump want to get rid of FEMA? Well, it's because during his visit to North Carolina, a lot of people were complaining about how FEMA as an organization has failed to provide adequate resources. I mean, we all remember the story about FEMA discriminating against Trump supporters, okay? The woke DI employees were doing that. Yeah, so President Trump is saying, you know what? FEMA's not all that effective. Let's just make this a state's issue, okay? All that money that FEMA gets, maybe we can just share the money directly with the states, right? I mean, he's thinking like a businessman, and that would be a more efficient way to handle disaster relief. And of course, Democrats are boohoo whining and crying about this. They're freaking out over Trump trying to tear down bureaucracy.
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area. They've never been to the area. And they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away. And we pay directly. We pay a percentage to the state. But the state should fix it.
Mr. President, if I can just defend FEMA a little bit.
Yeah.
They brought thousands of people in. I don't know how they're doing in other states. They're doing a good job for us here. They've got a huge center that's open from 9 in the morning till 8 at night. But also, when you have a disaster this size, you need to be able to deploy thousands of people, which they've been able to do. Now, California, if we did it on our own, maybe we'd have thousands of people.
You do.
But if Rhode Island has a Palisades disaster, are they then supposed to keep thousands?
How many people do you have in California? 36? How many million? How many million people do you have?
But
you have 40 million people. You're not going to get a few thousand people? The problem with FEMA is they come from all over the country. They end up in arguments with your people from California because they want to do it a totally different way. And I can live either way, but you haven't gotten very much done with FEMA and all you have to do is look at North Carolina. It's one of the great disasters of all time.
And Mr. President, you can't have Rhode Island maintain a staff of thousands and thousands of people waiting to see if they have a disaster.
Do you know who came in and fixed North Carolina or the process? Other states, people from all over the country came. And you have the same thing. You have a lot of people from all over the country. Getting the people is not a problem. Getting the organization is a big problem. FEMA's incompetently run, and it costs about 3 times more than it should cost.
I'm hoping
we can spend money on schools instead of giving money to bureaucracy. It takes you so much longer.
Mr. President,
it takes you so much longer
for helping our people.
FEMA has a standard, Brad, and I'm a builder. I was a very good builder. FEMA has a standard that's so slow. They want permit on permit on permit, and then they want permits on top of that. If you use FEMA, you'll be here for a long time. What I'm saying is get the city, get the state to give you immediate 24-hour permits. These people are going to build their own homes. They're going to get them built fast. Yeah. How many of the people, could I ask you one question? How many of the people, what are people going to do for financing? What are people going to do? How many people can build a home, a percentage-wise, like where they don't have to go out and get funds? Some people are just not going to be able to rebuild their home because they have a beautiful home, but they don't have cash.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that, okay? President Trump is saying, listen, I'm getting rid of FEMA because FEMA is inefficient. It is better for states to essentially maintain their own emergency disaster relief funds and operations because you guys know your land and your state the best, okay? It doesn't make sense to have people come from across the country who don't know the land, who don't know the state, who don't know what you guys want, and to try to work together. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You're better off just, I don't know, doing it yourself. And what I think they should do, honestly, is just, work with states around you, work with states in your geographic area and form like a coalition of states who want to work together and to pitch in and share resources for disaster relief situations. Maybe that should be the approach. I think that's a much better approach, to be honest with you. President Trump is saying, this is inefficient. I'm going to get rid of it. And that is Trump's mindset. This is the difference between having a businessman come in and do stuff versus having politicians. Politicians are listening to the academics. They're listening to the activists, okay? They're listening to the woke revolutionaries. And all of these people see the government as a means of trying to enforce their social ideologies, okay? And that is the issue that California is facing right now when it comes to rebuilding the Palisades and all these parts of LA that have been burned to the ground. The academics are telling the politicians like Karen Bass, no, slow down. We don't need to rebuild right now. Let's wait to rebuild because we want more affordable housing. We want to change up the district and the neighborhoods. And our vision, the way that we want them to be, or the way we feel like they should be. Now, again, how do they get that accomplished? They get that accomplished through regulations, okay? Having to go through a bureaucratic permitting process that essentially forces people to wait to get their lives restarted, while at the same time, some of them are still paying the mortgages on their homes, okay? They still got to live, and they don't have a house to stay in. And the longer it takes for them to rebuild and to get their life started, to get back to normal, that puts pressure on a lot of these individuals to sell their properties for pennies on the dollar, right? Sell what they got left, okay? And that's how you get big companies coming in and other individuals coming in and buying up the property and buying up all the land for really cheap. And then, you know, it ends up turning into a different place that is made in the image of the woke academics and the politicians, right? That's what happens. So without further ado, let's get into this.
We're bringing our city departments together so that people don't get caught in the loop of going from one room to the next. We want them all to be in the same room so that you can get busy rebuilding ASAP. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And we will clear the lots. Absolutely. In the city and in the county. We are working together. Both levels of government are working in unity.
Months? Is it like we that's the answer that we got, and that's what we're all hanging on?
Yes.
So if you're telling us now faster, is it 6 months? Is it, I mean, all of our lives, rents, all this stuff is weighing on this.
6 months is no good.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You should let them do it, because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
The people are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can.
There's not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking, I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot.
Yeah.
I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, I mean, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are picking up on this, but what she's saying is contradictory. She was confronted about the fact that she told some of these residents that, yeah, it's going to take 18 months for you to start rebuilding. And then when called out about it, she backtracks and says, no, you can hold me to that. And President Trump basically holds her accountable, holds her feet to the fire by saying, okay, well, yeah, they should be able to start building right now, immediately, right? That is what should be able to happen. Now, Carrie Bass suggests that she's going to let these residents start rebuilding immediately, but she knows that she's not. Because when asked about when they can actually get started cleaning up their lots, right, their own properties, oh, well, it'll be about a week, right? It'll be a week. Again, this is Democrats being called out on their lies. They claim they're doing something they're not actually really doing. These people want to delay the process of rebuilding because it allows them to push their woke social agendas. That's what it does. So they want to make it as painful as possible for these residents to rebuild, and they lie about what they're actually doing to help these residents. So President Trump is holding her feet to the fire.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, Everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important thing is for people to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
That was last night.
And that was last night.
On that.
18 months to clear
We
walk.
can't even see our homes right now. We are blocked from entering our streets.
Right.
We can't even. This is our first time we saw our house. Was yesterday.
Yeah, she's getting caught out on her BS. She's getting caught out on her BS. That's a leader right there, folks. That's a leader. I cannot believe that it's been 4 years since we had a real leader in office. It's almost weird seeing it. That wait. The president of the United States actually is telling these people what to do, how to do their jobs. He's setting them straight. He's holding them accountable. Wow. Haven't seen too much of that at all in a long time. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with President Trump. Now, again, the liberal argument, the progressive argument is that, well, they should wait because they need to figure out a way to rebuild a neighborhood to make it more resistant to the fires and stuff like that. And it's like, nah, I don't trust them to do that. I don't trust the government to do it. These people are rich. Let them spend their own money to rebuild their neighborhoods in the way that they want to rebuild them. They're probably net taxpayers, okay? When you talk about these local taxes, they probably put in disproportionately more into the system than they get out of it, right? So I think they should better just rebuild it whatever way they want to rebuild it and go from there, right? I think that, honestly, more privatization, allowing them to do what they want to do and figure out how to protect themselves. I mean, it's possible. Rick Caruso, who's a billionaire, he protected his shopping mall. So it's possible, right? It's totally possible. And, you know, hey, leave it up to them, okay? But I think that it's not fair to hold them back from them rebuilding their lives in the way they see fit because, again, you want to enact a social agenda. That's what this is all about. That's what these regulations are all about. So good on President Trump for spanking the kids because that's exactly what happened there. Trump just spanked the kids. Okay, had to come in and sit them down and tell them, nope, this is what you're going to do. Okay. That's leadership, man. That's leadership. I could get used to this. I could get used to this for the next 4 years. It's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.